Run your dishwasher with Cascade Platinum to save water and energy. Certified dishwashers use less than 4 gallons of water per cycle. And you can also save up to $130 per year on your energy bill. Cascade Platinum.
This is what freedom sounds like. And this is what freedom smells like. Enjoy 30 days of open road freshness. Febreze Car.
Hey, E.T. is at the Emmys with Cedric the Entertainer.
And TV's biggest stars.
Woo!
It's
E.T.
at
the Emmys. What?
Get out of my frame. What are you doing?
Kevin Frazier trying to block Kerry Washington's
I wouldn't block
shot.
anybody. I love Kerry, by the way. Kerry, no, she's
No,
like family.
you'd never block anybody.
Anybody, no, I wouldn't.
Join us Monday because we have a huge...
Happening now.
We're in Del Rio, where over 12,000 migrants are stranded underneath that bridge, according to a county commissioner here. This is as close as they're letting us get right now. We'll be here throughout the day trying to talk to local residents and also county officials about how they're going to handle this crisis.
And if you've been waiting for an answer from the FDA on whether to get a booster shot, today they released their recommendations, who they say needs to get a third shot of the vaccine.
A summer-like weekend ahead of us, but a cold front is just around the corner. We're going to talk about it all, including rain chances, in just a bit. The News at 5 starts right now.
And first at 5, a humanitarian emergency. Sky 12 capturing these images. More than 12,000 migrants crowded under the Del Rio International Bridge. About 35,000 people live in Del Rio total.
The Del Rio mayor saying that Haitians are the majority among this recent surge, a surge that's creating chaos and confusion. Our John Paul Barajas arriving in Del Rio this afternoon. He's been tracking the very latest developments throughout the day there. John Paul, what can you tell us right now?
Well, shortly after we arrived, the mayor of Del Rio declared a state of disaster, saying they were going to close the tolls on the International Bridge. Just a few hours later, they decided against that, causing confusion for the government, but also the residents who live here. And one woman we spoke to says this surge is the worst one she's ever seen. Sky 12 captured the thousands of migrants under the International Bridge. As of this morning, there were over 12,000. The Del Rio mayor says 8,000 more are expected in just a few days. Andrea Davis has lived in Del Rio for more than 40 years. She says this is the worst she's ever seen it.
I've never seen anybody cross the river, ever. As long as I've lived here all my life, I've never seen that. And the other day, it was extreme. About 500, all bunched up trying to get up in there.
The asylum seekers must wait to be processed, a legal process that allows them to give themselves up at the border before their legal case is heard. The number of migrants has increased each day for the past week. More than 200,000 people crossed the southwest border in August, according to the latest numbers from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. That number 4 times more than last August.
I feel that Biden has dropped the ball. He's invited all these people to our country, but there's no resources for them.
A surge which appears no one was prepared for. The Department of Homeland Security has sent additional officers to help process more people. Water, towels, and portable toilets have been provided, but it's not enough for the thousands here. The heat index hitting at least 105 degrees, grueling temperatures for anyone to deal with. Davis is asking for the federal government to step in. She calls it a humanitarian crisis, but she says she's also worried about her safety.
The safety of our community, houses being broken into. We have a ranch, and the ranch house has been broken into multiple times.
And we're right next to the International Bridge, but this is the closest they've let us get to. We're still behind the fence. Now, behind this fence, behind all the trees, the cars driving down to under the bridge, and all the cars that are stationed out there, that's where the migrants are stuck, stranded, battling these horrible conditions. Now, the federal government has been pretty strict about letting media down there. We're currently in the process of trying to get a tour. We'll let you know how that goes. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. I think it's worth mentioning that many of these Haitian migrants are fleeing an earthquake in their home country and dire situations, the assassination of a president, trying to get to a better life. So what's the balance here? Well, Governor Greg Abbott said today the U.S. Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security have told the state the migrants will be relocated to Arizona, California, and perhaps Laredo. We have reached out to the White House for comment, but have not heard back.
While thousands of people are waiting to make their way across the U.S.-Mexico border, 20 people from 20 different countries were granted citizenship here this morning. The naturalization ceremony happening at City Hall. Mayor Ron Nierenberg was the keynote speaker. The 20 new U.S. citizens are from countries in the Middle East, Europe, and South America. Marichu Espina was part of today's celebration, and she shares why today means so much to her.
I have my 2 children here. My husband is from here. So there's a lot of opportunities if you will be a citizen of the United States that just kept your citizenship from where you are here in the United States.
Over the next few days, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will welcome a 21,000 new citizens in more than 330 ceremonies all across the country.
And becoming a U.S. citizen oftentimes a long and difficult process. And for some people, it begins with seeking asylum, like those waiting under the international bridge in Del Rio. Coming up tonight at 6, Jesse DeGollado speaks with local immigration attorneys about how such a large number of people will fare under an already overloaded asylum system.
Some big news on the COVID-19 vaccine front today. The FDA deciding that all people 16 and older do not need a booster shot, at least not right now.
But they do recommend boosters for those 65 years and older. ABC's Rena Roy explains.
It's a contentious debate amongst the nation's top health officials, a topic so divided the FDA's vaccine chief urging scientists to hear each other out as Friday's critical meeting on booster shots kicked off.
And we strongly encourage all the different viewpoints to be voiced and discussed regarding the data, which is complex and evolving.
Ultimately, the committee voting against a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine for Americans 16 and up.
This vote did not pass.
They did, however, recommend boosters for people 65 and older and those at high risk of severe disease. New data out of Israel indicates an additional Pfizer shot gave 10 times more protection against COVID and severe disease. The company recommending boosters 6 months after the second dose. This as the virus runs rampant in some schools across the country. In Texas, more than 126,000 students have tested positive since classes began a few weeks ago. In Kentucky, one district temporarily suspending in-person learning because of a growing number of infections. Pediatric nurse Holly Pazzi in Montana says she's seeing a concerning surge of cases in children.
It's really clear to us that the Delta variant is making an impact on pediatrics.
Right now, more than 2,000 children are hospitalized with the virus. Tennessee has the highest infection rate in the U.S. Hospitals there are filled with the unvaccinated.
Not getting the vaccine, it could cost you your life. I've actually lost several family members since I've been in here from COVID.
The country reported more than 10,000 confirmed COVID-19 deaths in the last week, but some hopeful news from the CDC. Daily COVID hospital admissions will likely go down over the next month. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Nearly 2 million Texans still haven't received their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. And while we may not know the exact reason why, there are billboards going up in several cities, including San Antonio, that are likely not helping. Tiffany Huertas tells us it's why city leaders are focusing on the facts and call the billboard's message a distraction.
Almost 1.2 million Bexar County residents are fully vaccinated, and 1.4 million have received at least one dose. As the city pushes for vaccinations, this billboard, "Don't Be Bullied," has been placed on US 281 near Hollywood Park. The Citizens Council for Health Freedom out of Minnesota is behind it. The group says it's to raise awareness and build resistance to vaccination mandates. This message has been placed in Minnesota, Idaho, Wisconsin, and Texas.
The numbers aren't lying. 85 to 90% of those that have been hospitalized have been unvaccinated. So, we can't let those kind of things detract us from our goal.
Yesterday, the city reported 13 new COVID-19 deaths and 734 new cases.
We are, I think, singularly on a mission to defeat this pandemic, defeat COVID, And we know the way to do that is to get vaccinated.
Army retiree Tim Harris knows this now. He had the chance to get vaccinated last year, but didn't. After contracting COVID and being on a ventilator, he had a change of heart and is now fully vaccinated. He says if you have something against the vaccine, before you decide not to take it, do your research first. Don't take someone else's word for it. Look at the facts. Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
It's a military drone strike that killed 10 Kabul civilians, including 7 children. And now the Pentagon says it was a, quote, tragic mistake, end quote. The August 29th attack meant to take down a vehicle believed to have been driven by a member of the Islamic State, who the Pentagon originally said posed an imminent threat to American troops.
Marine General Frank McKenzie, head of U.S. Central Command, now saying those who died, including the driver, were not associated with ISIS-K or a direct threat to U.S. forces.
What a Friday, especially for this time of year. 70 in the morning, which is close to average, but by the afternoon, we made it up to 97. So we missed the record high by 1 degree today. And this is the preliminary climate data. There is the chance we could even rise another degree before we get the official info in about an hour or so. Right now we're 98 Shirts, West Kerrville 98. We're feeling the heat outside, unseasonably warm out there. Even Utopia, triple digits at an even 100. But pretty quiet this evening, other than being warm and sticky outside with the humidity, a clearing sky, and a calm wind out there. We do have a summer-like weekend and few days to talk about with the chance of rain, but also, Sam, a cold front. We'll be noticing those changes next week. We'll talk about it coming up.
Definitely. Adam also coming up about growth in the area and how local leaders are going to be addressing that growth. But let's take a look at traffic this evening. This is I-10 at Frio. Here you can see some heavy traffic coming into downtown, and we've had some major delays on 35 inside Loop 410. Half an hour now between the northeast side and downtown. So watch out for that. It gets a little bit better once you get south of downtown. Also watching some situations on east side, I-10 starting to clear up, but that is still an issue this evening, guys.
Thank you, Samuel. Check your freezer. HEB voluntarily recalling frozen pasta. It's the HEB jumbo stuffed shells. There could be metal in them. HEB learned about the issue September 9th after 4 customers complained. The affected products have sell-by dates of July 27, 2022. The lot code is 21208. It's on the back upper left corner. If you have them, throw them out or return them for a refund.
As the temperatures start to taper off, it is prime time to hop on the bike for exercise or just a little bit of fresh air. But even the best cyclists can hit a pothole and take a spill. So is it time to replace your bike helmet? 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz has some recommendations and an important recall.
In the past year, the number of people getting back on the bike is up. So are falls and injuries. So what kind of shape is your helmet in?
Bike helmets are not indestructible.
Consumer Reports' Kevin Loria says bike helmets most effectively protect you from head injury if it fits well and it's not damaged.
If you've been in a crash, you need to replace your helmet as soon as possible.
A helmet can look fine after a crash, but there could be damage. And experts say everyone should replace their helmet every 5 years or so because the protective foam and plastic can break down over time, especially in a hot garage.
One obvious sign is if you see any cracks in the foam. A more subtle sign you may need a new helmet is if the colors have started to fade. That's a sign the helmet may have been weakened by heat or sun exposure over time. And check the chin straps too to make sure that they're in good shape. 2
helmets that scored well in Consumer Reports' rigorous tests are the Giro Register MIPS and the Lem Boulevard. For kids, they recommend the Bontrager Tyro and the Garneau Nino. And heads up, parents, is this your child's bike helmet? It's under recall because it doesn't meet standards and may not protect a child's head in a crash. It's the Turbo Ski Toddler from Ski Outdoors of Texas. The small size is recalled. Return it for a refund or a new helmet. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
It's only the start of fall, but we are fast forwarding to October. The Day of the Dead River Parade is happening next month. We hear from Chef Johnny Hernandez about why being part of this is so special to him.
I love that event. Plus, if you've ever been to Sunken Garden Theater, it's soon going to look a lot different. Up next, what a $62 million renovation is set to include. A Sunken Garden Theater will soon have a $62 million revamp. The concert venue is being renovated by the Brackenridge Park Conservancy in the city and county. The new design includes covered seating with a large timber frame roof and much more. The project is expected to create several hundred construction jobs. The venue will employ more than 170 full-time workers. You can read more about the redesign right now on KSAT.com.
We are still weeks away from Dia de los Muertos, but plans for the Day of the Dead River Parade already underway.
And this year, the parade will be an in-person event. Last year, we taped it and showed it to you. This year, it's going to be live. Chef Johnny Hernandez of La Gloria made the announcement this morning.
My mom's family is from Michoacan, where really these traditions were birthed and where they began thousands of years ago. And that's what we're all about, preserving tradition.
The Day of the Dead River Parade happening Friday, October 29th. It starts at 8 o'clock. And of course, we will have a live broadcast right here on KSAT 12. You can find all this information on KSAT.com.
It really is a labor of love for Chef Johnny Hernandez.
It is so impressive. Those floats are beautiful. And they kind of up the game every year.
The altars they have at La Villita.
I mean, that's right.
It's great. Looking forward to it. All right, 96 degrees out there, and I am ready for the weekend, Mr. Caskey.
I can tell by your sneakers you have there, Steve.
That's right. I have my red sneakers on. It's my casual Friday look.
Football season, red for a reason.
That's right.
Go Big Red. I just thought of that rhyme. No big deal.
Way to go.
Wow. Golf clap.
I know. I just trying to get anything I can these days. Oh, boy. Summer like this weekend and temperatures remaining above average all the way through the early part of next week. But a cold front is going to pay us a visit, and that's going to cause some changes. And with it will be some rain chances as well. So first we'll talk temperatures, then we'll get into rain chances, and then let you know what it's going to feel like and when things are going to be changing, and especially what that means for our morning temperatures. So 96 degrees right now. We're down 1 from our high temperature today. Feels like 98 when you factor in the humidity. Dew point of 64, so it's sticky outside. And of course, the bright sun shining down on you. It's hot out there. So for football games this evening, once the sun sets, obviously it'll feel a little better, but it's going to be sticky and hot. 97 Port SA, Castroville 99, Devine reading 102, New Braunfels 97, and Bernie now 91. Triple digits Del Rio, triple digits Cotulla and Laredo. Cotulla is actually the hot spot, currently 103. Creasel Springs at 99. So let's talk about tomorrow morning. It's going to be sticky and muggy. We'll be running a little above average. Most of us low to mid 70s for morning low temperatures. You get up into the hill country and we'll have some readings in the upper 60s. Then by tomorrow afternoon, we just do this all over again. We're thinking about 96 in Hondo and New Braunfels, mid-90s San Antonio, could be upper 90s. That wouldn't surprise me at all the next couple of days. Once the cold front hits, you're not going to notice a big change in afternoon temperatures. Yes, they will take a dip, but the most noticeable changes will be Wednesday morning and then all the way through this time next week. Look what the mornings do. Those morning temperatures really fall off. So a little taste of fall, just a little touch, a little appetizer of fall. Wednesday morning, 68. Thursday, Friday, low to mid 60s. So by Wednesday morning of next week, that's when you'll really start noticing the changes. Not just those mornings will be a little cooler and more refreshing, but we're going to scour out the humidity. The dew points are going to really plummet here. So this weekend, yes, sticky. Early next week, still muggy outside. Monday, Tuesday, dew points well into the 60s. But look at this. By Wednesday through the end of next week, refreshing. You're not even going to be thinking about humidity or mugginess. So let's talk rain chances. We still have this little swirl in the upper levels near Dallas. It's a very weak upper level disturbance, but it's going to be dropping southward tomorrow closer to the Gulf Coast. That gives us the off chance of a rogue thunder shower or two. Here's our future cast. A lot of sunshine to start the day. Fair weather clouds into the afternoon. With those, a couple of them may bubble up vertically and then rain a few quick downpours here and there. Don't pay so close attention to the placement of these tomorrow afternoon. Just the mere fact that the future cast is popping them up, I give us about a 20% chance for tomorrow. Then by Tuesday night, we bump it up to a 40% chance. That's our best shot as that cold front drops in. And of course, we'll be fine tuning those details in the days ahead. Otherwise, mid 90s, some upper 90s as we go through the weekend. Not much of a breeze either, just a light variable wind. And then looking into next week, there's that cold front, and don't be thinking, sweaters and hot cocoa quite yet, right? It's still September, but upper 80s is an improvement, and those mornings will be a little cooler and more refreshing.
Baby steps here.
Yes.
Baby steps. All right. Thanks, Adam.
And I think perhaps nobody looking forward to a little cooler weather than maybe the guys that cover high school football, the players, the fans, the crowd. I mean, it's going to be hot tonight, Greg.
Yeah. Smithson Valley's band just wrapped up their practice of their routine for halftime. You can hear the buses arriving here from Judson Independent School District with Wagner on board. And everybody wondering in the big game tonight, will there be another upset in District 27-6A? When we come back, a live preview of this game between Wagner and Smithson Valley after what happened last night in Converse, where the Unicorns shocked the Rockets. Coming up. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome live to Ranger Stadium in Smithson Valley for the big game and our big game coverage tonight. That's where, of course, Wagner coming in here tonight to take on number 3 and undefeated Smithson Valley to help open up play in District 27-6A. Now, the Thunderbirds coming in this game with a 2-1 record in their non-district play with only loss to number 4 and undefeated Johnson, 21-13. But since that time, Wagner has bulldozed over Stevens, 69-0, Loretto Alexander, 41-3. For the Smithson Valley Rangers, they come into tonight's game 3-0 after beating Warren, Madison, and Eastwood out of El Paso by averaging 34 points a game and giving up only 9.
It's exciting. It's one of the bigger games that we got to go through this year. They're one of the tougher opponents.
They're a good team. We went. I think we went to overtime last year. They're a really good team. So, yeah, we know what to expect from them.
Wagner's a solid team every year. They seem to have a good team. They always very athletic, and just come in and see if we can win this year.
Kickoff is at 7 p.m. here at Ranger Stadium. East Central will travel to Steele. Linhoff at 7. Holmes and O'Connor at Ferris. Harlan and Stevens at Gustafson. Brackenridge Memorial to Edgewood. How about Highlands and Jefferson at Alamo? Edison and Burbank, SAISD. Churchill, Madison, Heroes. Roosevelt and Lee at Comalander. Clemens will travel to South San. Buda Johnson will be in town at McCullum at Harlandale Memorial. Forestville versus Southside. Pearsall will visit Holy Cross. Seguin. Veterans Memorial over at Rutledge. Canyon Lake, Alamo Heights at Orem. Laredo United South will be at Central Catholic. Eagle Pass at Cornerstone. And Blanco will be at Antonian. Our big game coverage road trip is a big one tonight. Larry and photographer Eddie Latigo's first stop is in Jordan to see if the Indians can score a win out of Eagle Pass. Then it's over to Pleasanton to catch Divine Warhorses against Eagles, and finally pulling into Poe to see the battle of number 1 versus number 2 Shiner against the Pirates. What a huge comeback win for the New Braunfels Unicorns against the Judson Rockets in Converse last night. The Unicorns were down 21-7 when Landon Marsh scores this 17-yard touchdown to tie the game at 21-all. And then Cade Winsell booted this 34-yard game-winning field goal with 1 second left on the clock to lift the Unicorns to a 24-21 victory over Judson to stay undefeated. Don't forget to join us tonight on the BGC app for all the live high school football games, courtesy of Texas Sports Productions. Follow us on Twitter for all the latest scores, and then on the Night Beat for all the highlights. Live from Smithson Valley, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Big night of football. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Low 70s and humid tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, well into the 90s again. We're thinking about 96 the high Saturday and Sunday. The off chance of a shower Saturday afternoon. If you get a quick splash, consider yourself lucky. And then not as hot as we get toward the middle of next week. The big difference, lower humidity.
Which is always helpful.
Yes.
Thanks for watching the news at 5.
World News is up next. We'll see you back here at 6.